with DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. In this episode, we're going to share with you guys about how you can transform your Vitamix, which is a standard traditional blender, into a vacuum blender. I sell vacuum blenders for like $600 or more for a high-end vacuum blender, but for less than $200, you could transform your current existing Vitamix into a vacuum blender with the biochef vacuum blending and storage solution kit that includes not just a brand new BPA-free carafe, but also a special vacuum pump that will save you money because you will have less food waste, but more importantly, when you're blending anything, you will preserve more nutrients. That's very important to me. Maybe you're not so concerned with nutrients, but also you will have a better color if you like to take Instagram photos. You will not have dissolved air bubbles in there. Very important for photos, but more importantly important, if you feel gas or get bloated or have belching after you make a smoothie because you are injecting a lot of air when you're blending in a traditional Vitamix blender. In this episode, we'll be blending in a traditional Vitamix carafe, but also the biochef carafe on top of a Vitamix motor so you guys can see the difference. In addition, we're gonna get a testimonial from one of my customers that actually sold the biochef kit to, so we could hear what they think about it after using it for about a month now. They've been making all their smoothies, all their soups, all their dressings, all their sauces, all their crazy stuff that they make under vacuum, and they cannot believe the difference. I've been telling you guys this forever. I've been selling vacuum blenders. I've been a proponent of this technology for a long time, and a lot of you guys have not budged, have not moved. You don't think it's gonna make a difference in life. Let me tell you, it does make a difference, and you should get a vacuum blender, whatever brand that is. Of course, if you have a Vitamix, this is the easiest and cheapest solution to do that, to have a good quality vacuum blender. But more than just vacuum blending, this should also allow you to store your foods in a vacuum so you have less food spoilage. You may be familiar with the food saver, that's available. And you've seen maybe the infomercials back in the day about how you could store your food under vacuum. It'll store a lot longer. 2 to 3 times more is how much longer you can store your food. In addition, if you store bananas, I love bananas in smoothies. If you have a Vitamix, you're probably making banana smoothies. Many of you guys may store your smoothies or your frozen bananas in just a Ziploc bag, right? Stored like this in the fridge or the freezer for just a month, these guys will start to turn brown. The taste will get nasty. And look at all this. If we put this, this is pumped full of air. There's air in here that are oxidizing the bananas. This will also allow the bananas to get more freezer burn. But if we use the biochef vacuum pump and the included bags, you get a few of these bags as a sample, to pump the air out. So you basically just put this pump right here and you pump the excess oxygen out of the bag. Now your bananas are stored without the excess oxygen in there. So you guys can see the difference, right? Very little air left in here, lots of air in here. Your bananas are gonna keep the color longer and stay fresher longer. So that's great when you store your food with the biochef. Besides storing in the bags you get, I wanna show you guys actually real quick a technique I made so that you can store things in glass jars. Normally I buy these special lids that could be expensive, and the lids I use are no longer available, unfortunately. But there's an easy way to do it that I've learned about by using a lid. So what you wanna do is you wanna take one of the flat lids that you get with the mason jars. I do recommend using the wide mouth. I like those more. You're gonna go ahead and take a lid, take a little push pin, right? I don't happen to have a push pin today, but I got this special tool that's like a push pin. It's got a little point on there. You're gonna go in and you're gonna pop a little hole in the middle of the lid. So now you have a lid with a hole in it. Next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take a little bit of electrical tape. Make sure you use electrical tape because it's the most flexible tape that'll work. This happens to be red, but it comes usually in black. Very inexpensive. Harbor Freight has it for cheap. Dollar stores will have it for cheap. We're gonna go ahead and take a scissors and cut off maybe about 1 inch or so of this electrical tape, right? Once you have a little bit of the electrical tape cut off, you're then gonna go ahead and take the scissors and cut off a little piece off the bottom. Just that much, right? Then you're gonna take this little bit I cut off and then put it on the sticky side of the electrical tape. So now you're taping the electrical tape to the electrical tape, so that in the middle of the electrical tape, you now have a slice that's not sticky in the middle. You're gonna then go ahead and put the non-sticky part right over the hole. And you stick the sticky side down, so that's what it looks like. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's the little double electrical tape part. Then what you could do is you could take that vacuum pump, you're gonna put that on top of the lid, and you're just gonna go ahead and hit the on button. This turns from the red when it's like sucking, and it does suck really good. It's gonna suck all the excess oxygen out of the glass jar, and it'll finally turn to green once all the oxygen is evacuated. What's happening is, where there's no tape to hold it down, the lid basically, the air comes out of the sides, and it'll basically force the lid down into the jar. And then it'll shut off, and you can see it is now green there. We can press this bottom button so we could release it easily. And you guys can see this lid is concave in there, and it's not falling off because now there's a vacuum on here. We could also know this by, if we try to lift this off, we can't, and if I lift it off, we could get my nail underneath there and lift it up and listen carefully. Wow, that's a nice strong vacuum in there. Now the other way you could get it off is, besides lifting it up, which can take some strength, you could just go ahead and peel this tape back to let all the air out of the hole, which might be easier for some of you guys. But then if you keep doing that, you're gonna have to replace the tape, because once the tape doesn't stick anymore, it's not gonna be good. So yeah, that's another technique I just came up with that I want to show you guys how to store things under vacuum. You know, you could store your smoothies under vacuum, you could store your nuts and seeds and grains and pre-chopped lettuce, pre-cut berries. Oh my gosh, pre-cut berries stored under vacuum will store even longer, because they always go bad in your fridge. You know that, you've seen them go moldy. But it's gonna be cool, right? You could save money, eat healthier, eat more fruits and vegetables because of the BioChef vacuum system. So the next thing I wanna do is I wanna get Nate and Lissa in here. Lissa is from Raw Food Romance. She has her own YouTube channel and Instagram, and we're gonna get their testimonial about using their own BioChef vacuum blender carafe on their Vitamix. All right, Nate. All right, Lissa, thanks for being in the show today. And so I want you guys to give your history of blending and how long you've been blending traditionally in a Vitamix without vacuum.
You know, for me, it's been since, I purchased my Vitamix in the beginning of 2017. So since 2017, we've been using this exact base, and we've been using this top, no vacuum, non-stop. Vitamix definitely changed the game. So that's, for me,
Like
that's
5+ years.
Yeah, 5+ years, yeah.
I bought mine about...
Which is this one.
Yeah.
about 10 years ago, and I've been raw for 7 years, so I blend every single day, smoothies and sauces and soup bases and everything. And so for like 10 years, I've been using the
They've been using the standard traditional Vitamix for over 5 and like 10 years now. And so once you went to the BioChef, using the BioChef, what did you notice differently?
Wow. Flavor, through the roof, amazing. The color has changed dramatically. And I like to take pictures, like you mentioned earlier, because of my Instagram page. I find that the texture and the fact that there's no air bubbles in the sauces and stuff make my life so much easier, because you don't have to skim it off and like, you know, it's so much better. And then obviously the flavor is...
Yeah, through the roof.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, the skimming, because we would do marinara like what we have set up here,
yeah.
and you'd have to like, you know, stir it and scrape off all the bubbles and the foam on the
Why
top.
do you want to scrape off the bubbles in the foam?
It just doesn't taste good. I mean...
Or
like,
for a picture.
Yeah, for pictures.
For a picture, as well
taste
as,
the same.
you know, if you're ingesting a bunch of air,
Yeah.
like you're maybe burping more, or maybe the burps are a little sneaky and they come out the other end. And, you know, you get kind of bloated. Yeah, so definitely. This thing, I mean, I wish that we would have been able to know about it earlier. I mean, I heard you talking about it in 2019.
I know.
And we're like, oh yeah, back
That
in
doesn't make a difference.
well, we didn't really like, you know, I guess we didn't really pay attention.
We didn't make the connection,
Yeah.
right? You don't really make the connection until you buy it and you try it.
And you're like, oh my gosh.
Why didn't I do this like 5 years ago or whenever, right?
100%.
Like, I wish
Yeah.
we bought it years
Yeah,
ago.
like I mean, we've been using it nonstop. Now we only use
How long? How long have you guys been using it?
So it's been probably like
Probably a month.
Has it been a month?
Yeah,
Okay,
probably.
so a couple times a day. The only thing that we don't use it for is banana and ice cream because you can't use the tamper, right?
Yeah.
Because it's under
vacuum.
under
You
vacuum.
can't use a tamper.
But
Everything
the
else.
smoothies, like we have nice, smoothies in the morning, and so I just every morning I'm like, oh my god, like what took us so long to get the vacuum blender? And it's no joke. It's not like we're sitting here trying to like talk you guys into something, talk you into something to buy that you maybe don't need. It's
What does it do differently though? Why is it so much better than just regular blending? Because people, I already blend.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
So what it is so you put your lid on the blender, just like this, say this old school blender, the old school craft, you got all this air in there. And so then when you start that blade, it's sucking all the air and it's just recirculating the air that's in there into your smoothie or your dressing or whatever it is you're blending. So, but with the vacuum lid, it's so sweet, right? You've got the port, it makes a nice seal, and then you have the vacuum that just goes right on top, suck all the air out of it. You have no air in here. All of this, I mean, of course, it's interesting because it's not like, there's still something in there.
Yeah,
like,
it's not 100%,
but you
it's
can
like,
see the walls.
The majority excess oxygen is removed. Is what I like to say.
It isn't. Yeah, the majority of the excess oxygen. There is definitely like we were noticing comparison side by side. This one over here, super bubbly, foamy, and then this one over here, you might have like 3 bubbles in it.
Yeah,
so it's
so
incredible.
awesome. Minimal, very
It's
minimal.
so thick. It's so delicious. Cream, like we do a lot of dressings for our salads. We have salads every single day, and the dressings are next level, incredible. And so now we're all geeked out about it. Like, how do people not even know about this? We got to make sure that we let people know how powerful it is. Just the same, it's a game changer, 100%. Just like going from like a $30 Walmart Oster blender to a Vitamix. I feel like it's pretty much that same kind of a jump.
And the jump is a lot cheaper in price because
Yeah,
the jump isn't as
that's true.
expensive from going from $30 Oster blender to a $400 Vitamix.
Yeah. Now, so what was cool though is when we did get this from you, we have a brand new craft, which our old craft, like the blades are a little bit, it's all
It's
opaque.
getting-
Yeah, and the blades is sharp. So over here we've got the brand new craft.
BPA-free too.
BPA-free, and then of course this unit right here, incredible, next level.
So what would you say, Alyssa? What are your comments on the vacuum blending system?
It's so easy. The only downside I would say is that if you don't add enough water, you have to open it and add a little more water. So you kind of get good at kind of eyeballing how much water you need. And I've only had to do that one or two times, is add a little extra water. But aside from that, I will never use the other one
know.
again. I just I don't want to use it.
Yeah.
Because if I have the option,
But why is it so much better? Like, you're saying it's so good, but like, what makes it better?
the taste for sure, the nutrition, because we care about the nutrition, and because you're not putting the oxygen in and oxidizing all the nutrients, it's going to be more nutritious and, like I said, more colorful.
Yeah, the
color is just amazing comparing the two. But I couldn't use any other one, like I said.
Now we're ruined. 'Cause now I was just telling John, I almost want to buy another one and just put it in the cupboard just in case if something does happen to this, we've got another one backup to use. But man, this little tool is unbelievable. The flavor is just so much
Intensified.
better. It's intensified, yeah, because you can imagine you're not aerating it. It's not blended with a bunch of air.
Yeah, when you blend a smoothie in that one, it tastes like foam. Like you get a little taste of the smoothie, and
Sure.
it's a good smoothie,
It's still
whatever.
delicious, yeah.
But when you have one from here, there's
It's
no
rich.
air in it,
It's
so you get
thick.
to taste like the realness of the food. You get to taste
All
you
the
get to see
flavors. You
color,
don't
all the
lose flavors from the oxidation and the extra air being imparted as part of your recipe that probably wasn't intended.
Plus, what's
Exactly.
cool too is you might get busy and you can come back.
Yeah.
We've had our smoothies set on the table for a couple hours, and you come back, it's not separated. It's still thick and creamy.
And it still tastes the same.
Still tastes just like it was fresh. Another downside would be once you put this blender, the old school non-vacuum craft on the base, you can blend right away. This takes depending on how much air, space you have in here. This one here might take 30 to 40 seconds before you can actually blend because it's sucking all the air out. So, if you're an impatient person.
You just dance.
Exactly. Definitely take
chop other stuff.
Chop some other stuff. Exactly. Give some push-ups.
Another thing that I like about the vacuum blender is that you can store food for longer and it lasts longer, and that's such a big thing for us.
Yeah.
With busy schedules, and we don't always want to be
meal prep. It allows you to better do meal prep because now you're not oxidizing the food when you're making it, and then plus you could store it for later. I mean, I've been doing this for years so that I can eat healthy every day without having to make food every single day.
This trick that you showed right here, John, is next level. The making your own vacuum sealable lids. Because we have a grip of these lids, but we can't find the vacuum sealable lids online. Like I don't know if the manufacturers, what's going on there, but we can't find them. And this is really cool because you can make the dressing, you can make a smoothie even. Say if you're taking a trip, maybe a 4-hour car drive, you could vacuum seal your smoothie, throw it in the cooler, and it's going to taste just like it came out of the blender 4 hours later because you have this cool trick. This is next level, just the same. I mean, this coupled with the vacuum, incredible. Yeah, 100%.
Wonderful. So the next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and get Alyssa to make one of her recipes out of one of her recipe books. I know a lot of you guys are trying to eat healthier, maybe you're already into the juicing kick, but I think, especially vacuum blending has its place in a healthy diet as much as juicing does, and I want you guys to do both of them. And I know a lot of you guys have already lost weight because of juicing, or maybe you're making smoothies, but you could take it to the next level by changing up and eating more fresh fruits and vegetables, and that's what Alyssa specializes in. She specializes in making amazing, tasty, and delicious recipes. I mean, I do that too, but she shares them with you guys and I don't. So she has, I don't even know how many, over 10 recipe books with amazing creations that I could vouch for, because I've had everything I've come over to eat at Alyssa's and Nate's taste amazing, and it's also super healthy. So Alyssa, you want to talk more about the book that we'll be using today to make this recipe?
Yeah, so this is the book. It's probably one of my most popular books. It's called Plant-Based Dips and Dressings. There's 117 recipes in here. 48 of them are no fat, so they're date-based, fruit-based, that kind of thing. Lots of savory, delicious, awesome dressings in here. So the one that we're going to be using is the mushroom marinara sauce.
That sounds good.
Yeah, so it's just without the mushrooms. We're just making the sauce today. So that's this recipe. I'm excited to try it because I want to see the color difference.
Yeah, we haven't done the marinara in the vacuum carafe yet. This is going to be the first time.
Cool. So how can somebody get your recipe book and learn more about you? I know you have an app too. You want to mention that in case somebody wants to eat healthy, they could get your app and basically get a whole slew of recipes on their phone anytime they want.
Yeah, so the app is $5 a month or $50 a year. It's at www.rawfoodromance.com, and it generates a meal plan for you every week, and you can swap meals. There's new recipes being added every month, and from the meals that you choose, it actually generates a shopping list. So you just pull up the shopping list, you go shopping, you get everything that you need for your meals, and then you could make them with the BioChef and use the lids to seal all your dressings, and then you could do the meal prep. So that's a great option. But if they wanted to grab any of the print versions, these are all available off Amazon. And the ebook versions, you can find the link in my bio on Instagram at rawfoodromance, or you could go to www.payhip.com/rawfoodromance, and the ebooks are all 40% off with code rawfood40.
Wonderful. Yeah, so I mean, you could take your diet to the next level by including more fruits and vegetables, especially ones that taste delicious with Alyssa, but more importantly, take your diet to the next level also by using the vacuum blender carafe that fits on your Vitamix. So let's go ahead and vacuum this out, Alyssa, and try these recipes, because we're gonna go ahead and taste test what these taste like. Of course, I don't need to pump the air out of this one.
Let's put them side by side.
All right, yeah, you can see the difference. So this carafe is a little more narrow at the bottom, that's why it's a bit taller, although this is the exact same recipe. And if you look closely, I don't know if you guys can see that on the video, but you can see air bubbles coming out of the bottom of this and popping on the top.
Yeah, it almost looks like soda, sparkling water.
Yeah, not quite that bubbly, but yeah, definitely some air bubbles. And see, we're not pumping any air out of this This is mostly pumping the air out of the head space here with a few bubbles coming up from the bottom. With this, we're just leaving it like just under normal atmospheric conditions, which is what all you guys have been blending under for like the longest time because you haven't known about vacuum blending. Vacuum blending is a brand new technology that originally was invented in Japan that I learned about, and I've been trying to educate people around the world about this technology on YouTube with limited success because most people still don't know what it is, but it is a game changer. Like Nate said, you know, I like the comparison. It's like using an Oster going to a Vitamix. This is like Vitamix to the next level right here. And as far as I'm aware, Vitamix does not have any plans to come out with a vacuum blender.
Yeah, so you gotta get the biochef.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got this ready to go, and then you just push the bottom button to release the vacuum.
Put this up there, and then we're gonna go ahead and do this on basically on high for the same amount of time.
Yeah, we'll
Got
start
it on
slow.
low.
Cool.
And whenever you're ready.
3, 2, 1. Oh. There we go. All right.
All right, so first we're gonna go ahead and pour this off for you guys.
But for John, it's going to be really easy
Yeah,
because
because I
he
just
has
can
to
open
take
the lid off.
Whereas I need to pull this and release
the
air.
vacuum.
And I could feel the jug expand.
Oh yeah, because the jug kind of contracts in because it gets sucked out. All the
Yeah,
oxygen
that
gets
was
sucked
pretty
out.
cool.
And then to remove it, she kind of like pulls up on the little tab and then lifts up at the same time. It comes off a little bit easier. That lid does stick a lot more and it's a little bit more difficult to get off because of the airlock in there.
Let's see this one.
The color.
Yeah, I don't know if you could show the color. Why don't we just pour it out and then they could see? Well, they could see the difference. Oh yeah, you can see all the air bubbles on the sides of this. So to show you guys the difference in that, you guys see the difference in color? Like it's not super significant, but this one is a lot deeper in color, and this one's a lot lighter. That's because, you know, the color's been diluted with all the extra air, so it's making it lighter. In addition, this has a lot more air bubbles in it. And maybe what we're gonna do next is we're gonna see how much air is in there by using my special lid that I created. And so first we're gonna suck the extra oxygen out of the one that we made under vacuum. So this should not rise up that much because there's not a lot of air in there, but also this is an excellent way to store this. Because it's made under vacuum, you have more antioxidants in there that'll protect it during storage, and also more antioxidants in there and nutrients in there for when you eat it. And so we're gonna go ahead and just suck the oxygen out, and I want you guys to see the rise. So it came up a little bit, it's coming up a little bit. You can see some bubbles coming out of the mixture, because even though we blended under vacuum, there's still a few bubbles in there, but hardly any. And you can see it rose up a little bit because both these were even a little bit from where it was. We can now detach this, and I like to do it one more time to see if we can suck any air out. This pump automatically shuts off when it has pulled the maximum pressure out. Next, we're gonna put a lid on this guy, and I want you guys to watch this closely as we pump out the air. So look at that, you guys see that? It's climbing, it's growing, it's getting taller and taller, it's getting caught up to this.
Wow.
And look at all the air bubbles in there. You can see the air bubbles in there. It's like a kid blowing bubbles. You know, when you're blowing bubbles. I mean, there's so many air bubbles in there. That's insane. That looks so gross to me. Like, look at that. Like, I want to show you guys that. Like, oh my gosh. We'll pump that one more time. All right, so look at that. Look at all the air bubbles in there. You guys see that? You guys probably can't see that with the camera angle. But it's so insane, all the air bubbles that are being pumped out in there. I mean, it pumped up to a little bit higher level. Yeah. But also, I mean, there's so many more air bubbles. I'm gonna pump it one more time here.
And it's just foamy.
Yeah, it's super foamy, and that's why it doesn't taste as good.
Yeah, my gosh, like that looks so gross.
Maybe that's why, you know, we've been having a little bit extra air inside is because we've been aerating our blends.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what everybody's been doing.
And you can tell the difference between these two. I don't know if it will show, but there are way more air bubbles in here. So we're gonna do a taste test now.
And what's cool too is, I mean, we're doing this kind of stuff. Like most people, you know, blending in a Vitamix or whatever kind of blender people are using, like it's better than going and getting a smoothie or something from a shop or a drive-through or something like that, because you know what you're putting in there. But if you're concerned about wanting the best that you can possibly get, you're investing. I feel like anybody who's investing in a Vitamix is obviously
already into it.
Yeah. So this is just taking it just that extra step. And I mean,
All right.
Yeah, I hope that companies do grab on because
To the vacuum blending concept. Yeah, because most companies haven't. So let's see, which one is the non-vacuum
This is
blended
the
is the one we're going to
non-vacuum,
try
yeah.
first.
okay, I'm vacuum here.
So this is the non-vacuum blended marinara we're all
you can
trying.
see foam,
Look at the foam.
foam on top, which we've been eating marinara like this for years, and it's still good. It's
Wow. It's like really, it's really foamy to me.
It's very foamy.
very foamy.
Very foamy.
But if you never had something vacuum blended, you would be like, this is normal, this is what it tastes like.
yeah, it's totally normal. Tastes
Wow, it's
great.
really, like the flavors are intense.
The flavors are good, but yeah, like
It tastes what, the oregano.
Yeah, put oregano in there.
It's good,
Okay.
but I can feel the bubbles in my mouth.
Yeah, there's
Almost
a lot of bubbles.
exploding. Just like that.
Now this one here is the vacuum.
Yeah, this is the vacuum. Okay.
Vacuum blended marinara.
No bubbles.
Wow. So it's even
Ooh.
stronger. Like with this, the oregano burns like my tongue. It's like, well, the oregano is so strong. It's like, whoop, you need to reduce the oregano in this because you're vacuum blending. You're not losing the flavor as much.
That's interesting too because you don't need as much
Right.
certain spices.
You could save money.
Yeah, save money by using less spices because
The flavors, you're keeping the strong flavor without it oxidizing.
and I can really taste. I put bell pepper and tomatoes in here too. You can really taste both of those, whereas in the other one,
It's all muted. Like
yeah, it's
you don't
muted.
really, you just taste. I taste mostly oregano in the other one, and the air bubbles.
yeah, exactly.
Incredible. That's gonna be really making a difference, especially for like the thicker curries and stuff that we do. Because yeah, it's just really airy, and
Yeah, this is
bubbly.
good.
And a lot of times we'll have to like, tamp the blender on the counter, and then of course stir it a few times, and then you're scraping bubbles. So maybe that would compensate for the time that you're waiting for the vacuum to do its thing.
Because you're not scraping all the bubbles off.
And plus, you're also gonna have better flavor, and you could, use less of your spices,
And we can store it, and
you could store it under vacuum, and it's not gonna degrade as quickly.
Yeah, definitely. It's just it's a game changer. It really is.
Yeah.
I know, like every day we're making smoothies, and we're like, oh my gosh,
We
This
can't
is-
wait for our
John, we
smoothies.
love you. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely need to invest in one.
Yeah. I mean, for people who are already spending hundreds of dollars on their blender, might as well drop another 180 for the
Yeah.
craft and the vacuum. It's worth it. It is 100%
Totally worth
worth it. I mean, if you're into if you understand the concepts of oxidation and you want, better flavor, better nutrition, being able to store it longer, yeah, there's no comparison.
Yeah,
There is
definitely.
no comparison.
What would you say to somebody that like, I put extra citric acid in there, or some extra lemon juice, or I fill my crap up so there's no head space when I blend up? Like, that's the same as vacuum blending. What would you tell them?
It's definitely not because you're still
Introducing the
introducing
air in
the
there.
air and it's still
Yeah.
bubbly. Like I use lemon juice in our lots of dressings.
Yeah, it's tricky because just like there's not necessarily a lot of these being demoed. So say like if you go to Costco, you can see how a Vitamix is working. Maybe you can taste what it, how it blends because it's a completely different blend than if you're using just a cheap blender. Like it actually blends. But I wish we could give people like a
Yeah,
taste.
sample through YouTube.
Yeah.
Because then if you tasted the two different ones, you would understand this.
And I mean, blind taste test, if I was to do a blind taste test, like I would be able to, both of them taste delicious, 100%.
Yeah.
It's a delicious recipe, but there's just
More flavor.
Way more
This is
flavor.
way more flavor.
And the bubbles.
The mouthfeel.
The mouth, yeah, you feel it. It's like, it's foamy. It just has a little bit of a foam feel to it.
But maybe
Yeah.
you like the foam. You like that head on your beer.
Right, true, very true.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
yeah.
But for nutrition-wise and storability,
Yeah,
this is
that's
just the way to go. I mean, seriously, I've been trying to promote this forever, and I'm glad I got you guys today to share your independent, third-party, non-sponsored
I'm glad that we
views.
bought it. I don't even know what it was. Like we got together and you were talking about it again, and we decided
I
let's
was
just
like,
do it.
we've been wanting to get one of those.
Let's
Let's
just
just
get
get it.
And then we're like, what the heck? Why did it take us 2 years? Because we heard about it in 2019. We heard you talking about it over 2 years ago. And then our other friend, he bought, a vacuum blend, and he was telling us, and we're like, yeah, whatever. But
That's how most people think it doesn't make a difference. Why should I get that? I don't need it. I've been blending all these years without it. But you guys, once again, you've been blending 10 years, 5 years. Big game changer, man. It's totally different.
Yeah. And I wonder, like, too, because when I got my first juicer, it was a, centrifuge juicer. High-speed juicer. And then when I got like a slower, like masticating style juicer, I would get more yield, like, slightly.
You get better yield. Flavor too on those. That's a good comparison.
Way better flavor and no foam. Like it's not all foamy or aerated. Yeah. And of course the concept of it being oxidized from just that high speed, so.
Yeah, this basically turns your high speed Vitamix into like a slow juicer, which you could also juice. This is the way I recommend juicing nowadays. Check my videos on how to make an antioxidant green juice in your vacuum blender. It's gonna be more difficult with the BioChef due to the carafe, so you gotta put a lot more liquidy items in the bottom. But you could basically vacuum blend whatever you want to juice, provided you have enough liquid, like watery fruits, like use a lot of cucumbers in the bottom. You can't just put straight carrots, not gonna work. You could put like apples as like half the carafe, cut small, and then carrots on the top, and then blend that mixture up. You have a slop, you put it through a nut milk bag, you wring it out. Now you can have actually the antioxidant green juice or vegetable juice or fruit juice, definitely best for fruit juices. That's higher quality even than a slow juicer. And I've been selling slow juicers for like over 20 years now. And when I first made a celery juice in the vacuum blender, I was like, oh my gosh, these juicers are outdated now. And I'm just telling you guys that because that's who I am. I'm not going to try to sell you a juicer when if you want the best nutrient. Now it's kind of a pain to blend up stuff. Get it to blend properly, especially when it's thick, and then just squeeze it out. But that's going to give you the best nutrition, also the highest yield. I've compared vacuum juicing in a blender and a bag compared to like a $2,300 pure juicer. The yield was almost equivalent, and it should have been equivalent, but it was almost equivalent without having to spend $2,300.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's incredible. And of course, we make a lot of dressings. We have, salads 1 to 2 times a day at least. And the dressings have been just completely different.
I know, yeah, my old recipes are just like, wow, this is like so much better.
Yeah, because they were delicious before.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm really glad that we did decide to move forward with getting this, because now we're like, well, we don't even really need the other craft anymore. Now we just use it for ice cream because we have the tamping wand, which that's another thing I really love about Vitamix is you can force your frozen fruit into the blades. But that's the only thing that we're using the old craft for. Like we don't ever use it. Now it's vacuum blend everything. Why not? I mean, especially if it only takes 20 to 40 seconds to get the air out of there. Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, so worth it.
Yeah, 100%.
Thank you, John.
Yeah,
you're welcome. So would you recommend other people, if they have a Vitamix, to buy it or not?
Heck yes!
Yeah, I would say if you're dropping, it's an investment. A Vitamix is an investment. It's not like, because for me personally, I was like, oh my gosh, what hundreds of dollars for a blender? Do I really want this? But I was just starting to get into raw foods, and I'm like, everybody's talking about the high CD blender, and they would say the Vitamix changed the game, and I had a Ninja, and the Ninja was great, but when I got the Vitamix, it was just a game changer. And so this here is the same thing. Like it is 100%. Like it adds a whole new dimension to it. It's just another investment because we're already investing into ourselves. So it's like, okay, the technology is changing, and it's cool because you're able to, share with people, and all this information is coming out, and we have to kind of have to go with the times. What's the new technology? What's happening out there right now? We need to have this. If people are spending hundreds of dollars on their Vitamix, might as well drop another $100 or so to get the attachment, because it's just going to make it that much better. I wish personally that I could make you guys one of our delicious chocolate malt smoothies.
Come on over!
Right? Come on over, we'll make you
because it
sauces.
Is unbelievable. It's so thick, so creamy. There's no air in it. Well, we've been drinking smoothies.
You've been drinking air all these years.
All these years. And like I said, sometimes, you burp a little bit. Maybe there are little stinkers coming out the other side, and it's nice because you're not going to have any of that. with the vacuum.
Yeah, improves digestion. That's a big thing with a
Right.
lot of people,
Right.
right? Especially like if you're sitting around a table and you're eating with friends and family and you're talking at the same time as you're eating, you're swallowing all that air, you're drinking all the air in your smoothie, it's in your sauces and your soups, whatever you're using your Vitamix for. You're just ingesting all this extra air that you don't need. So yeah, it just impedes digestion, whereas with the BioChef, it's so much less.
Yeah, and for your audience, they probably already know like the importance of, or the impacts of having things being oxidized. And so that's where it's like, it really, once we actually stopped, slowed down, and really paid attention to the concept, because we should have got it 2
It
years
just
ago.
makes
Yeah, I know,
sense.
it
I
just
mean, it
makes
just makes
sense.
sense.
We should have
Yeah.
got it 2 years ago. But we just got this a month ago, and now we're like, we want to scream from the rooftops, vacuum blend, guys, because yeah, it's incredible. But now there's only, I guess you can only get this attachment for the Vitamix, though. Is that right?
Yeah, so the BioChef will only work for the Vitamix, maybe other Vitamix compatible bases or motor bases. But I sell this for use on the Vitamix because I know that it works on the classic Vitamix, very important. It doesn't work on the new Ascent models or the Smart Detect version. If you got the food processor version, it's not going to work on that. It has to be a classic Vitamix that the carafe normally looks like this on. You might have the one with the, the fatter carafe, but it has to be the non-Smart Detect, not the Venturis, and not the new one that some raw fooders promote, like the Ascent.
A cool thing too is we've bought a few bases off of Craigslist for like $100.
Exactly.
Some of the older bases, something real basic like this, now with a lot of bells and whistles. This one over here does actually it's got a soup setting, it's got
Timer and
a
all that
smoothie
stuff.
setting. So that's kind of nice, but I wanted the variable speed, so I did, spend a little bit extra on this one from Vitamix. But what's cool is you could get the vacuum blend attachment, $180, right? Is that how much it is?
Yeah.
$180, and you could possibly, I would guarantee anybody who's going out there to search, you're going to find them, because anytime that I've ever searched for a Vitamix base, we've bought 4. My son, my mom's gotten a couple, a friend of ours would just like check Craigslist, because sometimes people are just like, I never even used my blender, and it's a shame that they don't. But you could have this whole setup for less
Under
than
300
less than
bucks.
300
$300,
bucks.
yeah.
So it's just it's incredible.
So you guys heard it from Nate and Alyssa. If you want to take your diet to the next level, you want to invest in the BioChef vacuum blending system for your Vitamix. So now you could blend things without air, have higher levels of nutrients, have less gas and bloating and belching, and also have better color, less separation, and more importantly, less air bubbles. I don't know if you guys can see that, man. The air bubbles in there to me look quite nasty.
They do.
It looks totally gross.
I know. Like, I don't know if I'd want to eat that.
Yeah,
one.
I mean, I just.
But that's what we've been eating.
But that's what
this whole
everybody's been
time.
eating this whole time. But so that's the next thing is I want to share with you guys. If you guys want to take your diet to the next level with healthy foods, because I know a lot of you guys are trying to get on a plant-based diet, or even if you're not going all plant-based, get more plant-centered diet, I could highly recommend Lissa's books that she makes, because she has really clean, healthy, good-tasting foods with menu planning and meal planning and all this stuff, so you can eat healthy and not have to worry about coming up with something that's going to taste good. These are all time-proven recipes that I want her to share with you guys. So, Alyssa, what's your best book? Because I know you have like over 10 books or more that somebody should buy if they're really new into eating healthfully, that they could use with the vacuum blender, or of course not.
Yeah, either way. This one here, this is Meal Plan Volume 3. So I have 3 meal plans. This is the latest meal plan, and the reason why I recommend this one for beginners is because you don't need a dehydrator, you don't need any fancy
You just need a
equipment.
blender.
You just need a blender, maybe a spiralizer, but those are like $20, right? So definitely this one here, and I also do recommend the dips and dressings if you're just looking for some cool, awesome new salad dressings, so you can eat more.
The dips and
whole
dressings is really
taste.
cool too. There's stuff like how to make cashew cheese,
Mm-hmm.
or
So you could go dairy-free.
Yeah,
dairy-free.
dairy-free.
And I found Lissa online when I was getting into this lifestyle of eating raw foods. She didn't know who I was, and I was just binge watching YouTube, and I saw her books and her story. But what I loved about her meal plan was that it was a 30-day meal plan, everything is different. Every breakfast, lunch, and dinner is different the entire 30 days. So that's 90 recipes that were, you know, you're not eating the same thing, you know, for an entire month. And of course, I found things that I really liked, and I just followed her recipe book for 7 months, dropped like 57 pounds just following her recipe book. And it was amazing because not only was I serving myself, but I was serving this planet that we live on, and as well as, you know, I'm not ingesting animal products, which is not necessarily the most best for us in a lot of ways, especially when we're living in today's day and age when we have access to all these delicious foods year round. Yeah.
Wow, amazing that you lost so much weight, Nate, because I know a lot of people out there that are watching this are also wanting to lose some weight, and I would tell you guys that the best diet to get on is the diet that Lissa would promote you guys, eating mostly fruits and vegetables. And so you want to get her books. You could go on a 30-day challenge, eat nothing but her recipes, and I guarantee if you do, you're probably going to lose some weight. But you're also going to have to get used to eating a little bit differently. So if you don't want to go hardcore, just, you know, eat a few things out of that every single day and still eat some of your other stuff. But, you know, you want to slowly and surely start making changes, you know, slowly and incrementally. You know, vacuum blending could just be a small change to get you to eat more smoothies, to make more sauces and salad dressings, and then eat more vegetables because now they taste better because their blends taste better. And my goal is to get you guys to eat more plant foods. Whether they want to ingest them in juices, which is great, or whether they want to ingest them in smoothies, which is great, or whether they want to eat whole salads with nice marinara dressings, or spiralize some zucchinis or cucumbers and spread that all over the top with their plant-based dips and dressings book. It's all good. Eat more fruits and vegetables. I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode, learned a little bit more about the BioChef, not just me telling you guys, but an independent, you know, testimonial, so you guys could really hopefully better understand the difference. If you're interested in buying the BioChef, the link is right down below this video so that you guys can purchase it from me at discountjuicers.com. This directly supports me so I can continue to make these educational videos for you guys and make a little bit of difference in the world. And I appreciate your support for those of you guys that will support me. And I appreciate you guys who have supported me in the past, because this allows me to continue to do what I just really love to do. So also be sure to thumbs this video up if you liked it. It helps for the YouTube algorithm. Also be sure to share this video with somebody else that already owns a Vitamix so that they could learn about how they can now vacuum store their food, but more importantly, vacuum blend their food without the excess oxygen so they can preserve more nutrition, get less gas, belching, and bloating, and keep their food fresher for longer under storage, do meal prep. It's just really a game changer. Like they say. So also be sure to click that subscribe button right down below. You never know what new juicer, vacuum blender, or appliance I'll be sharing with you guys. Coming up soon is an all new best horizontal juicer that I've never made a video about. Coming up probably in the next video. That'll be now introduced into America. That's being sold over in Europe for over a year now, and that is a game changer. That's a DC powered brushless motor. The quietest juicer in the world, I will claim, because the video could barely hear it when I'm making a video for you guys. You can't even tell it's running. It is that quiet. It's amazing. So make sure you click the subscribe button below. Make sure you click the little bell so you get notified as the new videos come out. And also be sure to check my past episodes. The past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. Over 600 episodes at this time, comparing juicers and different vacuum blenders and showing you guys the best technology to process more fruits and vegetables so you guys can get them into you and be healthier. So with that, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors.